Surely in today's busy lifestyle, many women must suffer from, all sorts of forms of anxiety, as well as, stress, and maybe even forms of depression because of today's busy lifestyle. How can we cope with this? How do we, juggle it so that it's healthy, it doesn't affect us, so that it gives us bad mental health or bad physical health?
Obviously, if you've got a healthy mind, then you'll definitely have a healthy body as well, because if your mind is not in a good state, then obviously it will affect your body as well. We all have stresses in our lives, but it depends on how one copes with these stresses. There are several coping strategies and stress management skills that you can apply in your daily life, which will definitely help. And especially for those people who are the followers of Ahlulbayt alayhi salam, for them every problem has a solution. All you need to do is to reflect upon the traditions and sayings of the holy imams, what they have said, what kind of life we should lead. I mean, they had problems as well in their lifestyles, but the way they coped was through invocations, prayers, seeking help from Allah, reading the Quran, as the Quran itself says that in remembrance of Allah do hearts find peace. So alhamdulillah, being a Muslim, we have so many sources which can actually get rid of stress and depression, because if you focus on the root cause of stress, it's when you're unable to cope, even you have an inability to manage things in your life. But if you follow a specific time management routine, if you plan everything, and you try to take time out for yourself, because you must relax. I mean, out of 24 hours, you must take some time out for yourself. You could talk to a friend, because some people tend to hide their emotions and their feelings. That gives rise to a lot of problems. You must ventilate your feelings. You have to talk to someone, a friend or a family member, or even a spiritualist or a counselor. And apart from that, you need to relax. Your body needs to relax. Plus, obviously, you have to make sure that you're living a healthy lifestyle. You have to make sure that the things that you are eating are not affecting you in a negative way. For example, people who get addicted to caffeinated drinks or fizzy drinks, sugary stuff, that does not help, because it stimulates stress. So you have to make sure you drink plenty of water, you eat things which are healthy.
But what about when, I know when you drink sort of, caffeinated drinks, it makes you feel a bit more awake. And then also when you have a fizzy drink or a drink that has a lot of sugar in it, people tend to think that, it'll make me a bit more perky, a bit more sort of, relaxed. And sometimes when you do drink these drinks, you do feel a little bit more sort of, in a way, hyper. I mean, in a sense that you feel a bit more relaxed. So, but we're all saying that actually, no, it won't. It won't benefit you, and it could add to your stress. So why do people think that, no, actually it will help them?
It's just a misconception, basically, because after having a cup of tea or a coffee, people tend to be alert. Obviously, when the caffeine kicks in, it has an effect, but it's not long-term. Similarly, all the sugary stuff and the fizzy drinks, like you said, they might make you a bit hyperactive because the sugar is in your system. But the effects of sugar in the system are not good in the long term. So instead of going for these kind of things, why don't you just go for the alternative things which are helpful and healthier? Adopt a healthy lifestyle. You must take time out for exercise. You don't have to go to a gym always. I mean, you can go for a walk in a park, be close to nature, just breathing, just take some time alone, sit alone for a while. And meditation is one of the best forms of relieving stress. And alhamdulillah, being Muslims, we have salat as one of the best forms of meditation, because when a person is praying, you are disconnected with the outer external world. So for that time, don't think about your problems. Try to focus on your prayer, seek nearness to Allah, try to talk to Him, tell Him about your problems, seek help. And there are so many verses in the Holy Quran that actually tell you how you can seek nearness to Allah through Ahlulbayt, and how they help in clearing your mind, getting rid of stress and depressive thoughts, negative thoughts in your mind as well. Because in our religion, obviously, you are not supposed to be hopeless. You must have hope at all times, because Allah is there to help you out. And depression originates from helplessness and hopelessness. Once a person becomes hopeless, you start thinking about negative things only. You look at the negative side of every picture.
Yeah.
You become so pessimist that you tend to blame yourself for every bad thing that happens in your life. You tend to lose contact with reality. So first thing that you need to do is to accept things that are happening. So acceptance is the first thing. Then whatever is causing you stress, you either avoid it, or you accept it, or you try to make changes either in yourself or the thing or the person who's causing stress.
I would just like to remind viewers at home that if you have any questions or if you want to share your views and experiences with us, then please do call in on the numbers on the screen. We would like to hear from you. Sister, what about when people, you said that when you suffer from depression, you tend to blame yourself for everything. But what about when people blame others? I mean, is that not possible? Where even if you are feeling low and you're depressed or you're feeling anxiety, that you may not find a fault in yourself and you just may blame others, or is that a different type of?
No, actually, it's the same thing. It's just that every human being has a different way of taking control of things in their lives. Sometimes we take the defense mechanism of projection and we tend to blame someone else or something else for something bad that has happened in our life, because it tends to relieve us from anxiety. Because the minute we accept that it was our fault, or we admit that whatever has happened is because of our own shortcomings, you tend to feel more anxious, and that causes more stress. But when you blame everything on somebody else, it gives you a sense of satisfaction. Oh, it wasn't my fault, it was because of something else, or because it was someone else. So you don't feel more anxiety. So this is like a defense mechanism you're using. You're in a state of denial, or you're just projecting it on something or someone else. But it's the same thing. Because acceptance is a very important thing for stress management.
Yeah. Okay, so what du'as and supplications can we read to help alleviate or to help us overcome depression, anxiety, stress, worry? What type of supplications have the Ahlulbayt alayhim as-salam said to recite?
First thing is that the Quran has many commands to pray and to ask for help. The most important thing is to have faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you don't have faith in Him, then it's pointless asking for anything or to praying. It's just like you're doing it as a ritual. You must have strong faith that if you're asking Allah for help, He will help. How He helps you is obviously not a matter of your concern. He'll find resources and things that will open doors for you.
So you need to pray from the heart.
From the heart,
you really mean it, that you want help.
You have to leave everything to Allah. You have to have tawakkul in Him. When you have a strong faith, it will help you cope with so many problems that you will be amazed that I went through this thing. Because faith does heal everything and gives you strength. It gives you spirituality to fight with daily life problems. And obviously, we can't deny the fact that we are going through difficulties in our lives. Everybody does. But it's just that every person has different way of coping with problems. So obviously, praying is the best thing. And our Imams, salam, they have given us so many supplications, invocations that we can recite in order to cure ourselves from diseases of the soul. Because people tend to focus more on their physiological health. They would like to look best when it comes to physical appearance. But how many people focus on their mental health or their spiritual health? All these things are inside us. And if you've got a healthy mind and a strong spirit, then obviously our body will be affected in a positive way as well. So when we talk about what Ahlulbayt alayhi salam have said regarding psychological problems, how to deal with it, we've got this book, Tib al-Imma, and we've got so many traditions that tells us that if you've got depression, we can recite this dua. If you've got anxiety, we can recite this dua. For example, reciting Ayatul Kursi every single day 41 times helps you get rid of stress and anxiety. Similarly, reciting Nadi Ali 1000 times every day will make you more stronger and confident in your daily life. Then if you recite Ya Hasibo, which is obviously one of the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, 70 times, that's morning and evening, daily for 8 days, Ya Hasibo, commencing from Thursday. Person who does recite this will be relieved of all kinds of fears and worries. Similarly, obviously, you give charity and sadaqah, that helps you a lot, because sadaqah prevents a lot of calamities from coming towards you. Then we've got another name of Allah, Ya Wahidu. He who repeats this 1,000 times in privacy in a quiet place will be free from delusion, fears, worries, and anxieties. Similarly, if somebody is looking forward to a happy, peaceful life, that person should repeat the name Yamaniu 20 times at bedtime. That does help. Obviously, reading the Quran itself, not just the Arabic context, because we don't understand that, especially those who are not familiar with the Arabic language. You have to read the translation, what it means. Because when you're reading the Quran, you tend to reflect on what Allah is telling you. And obviously, it tells you everything, how to live a normal, happy life. Then we also have Ya Wariso, which is also one of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you repeat this name after sunrise 1,000 times, you will be safe from all kinds of sorrows by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Okay. So what is the book that you said, that, what is the book's name, sorry?
Tib al-Imma. Muhammadi Trust has translated the book. It's called Islamic Medical Wisdom.
Okay.
And you can easily get it from different Islamic bookshops as well.
Okay.
And
so the book is called Tib al-Imma, and it's translated in English as Medical Islamic Wisdom, and you can get that from Muhammadi Trust. So for viewers at home that want to get hold of the book, then you can contact Muhammadi Trust for the book. But you said, I know some of the supplications you read 1,000 times, but what about our viewers who are saying, well, I have a very busy life, I have to be at work by sort of 8 in the morning, I have to be up at 7, where can we fit these du'as in our life that will help us relieve depression, anxiety, stress, but how can we fit in reading all these long supplications?
Well, if you are unable to take time out for reading these du'as or supplications or Isma Azam, you can always fit in your busy lifestyle. For example, obviously, if you're going to work...
We actually have a call on the line. Okay. Can we just take the call? Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Thanks for the program, please. And I want to ask... Hello?
Yes.
About the... Hello?
Yes, hello, I can hear you, sister. Please do go ahead with your question.
About the
arthritis.
I have faith.
Yes.
Everywhere.
Yes.
So what sort of I read faith?
Yes. Okay. What supplications you should read for your arthritis pain?
Yes, please.
Right. Thank you so much, sister. Thank you so much for your call.
I like the book.
Thank you. That's a very good question by the sister, isn't it? What should she recite for arthritis pain? And because obviously arthritis, they say that can develop from or gets worse from stress and anxiety. So, what is there a dua supplication that she can?
Arthritis is obviously a physiological disorder rather than psychological. But yes, sometimes physical illnesses can lead to psychological problems, because obviously arthritis can impair daily functioning. So it will cause stress, anxiety, and maybe depression. And as far as supplications are concerned, you can recite the Isma Azams of Allah, and you don't have to take out time for that. Even when you're doing something, you can keep on reciting it when you're in the kitchen doing something, or even when you're traveling. I can't exactly tell for arthritis specifically, but for all kinds of illnesses, for general body pains, obviously give sadaqah and recite Nadi Ali as many times as you can every single day. And apart from that, Ya Badiyo, that's another name of Allah. Reciting that, it will help you in things which are causing stress and sorrow in your life, whether it's physiological pain or any other problem.
So if we go back to the question that I had asked you before the caller, we have a busy lifestyle, and some of those applications that we have to read, you said 1,000 times. How do we fit this in? For example, if you're working sort of 9 till 7 or something like that, and you have family at home, and you're travelling from very far from home, and your workplace is quite far, what can we advise them, our viewers, to where to find the time to read these supplications?
Well, obviously when you're going to work or you're coming back home, you get some time for traveling. During that time period, instead of just dozing off or listening to music, or like some people tend to do, or reading a book, why don't you read a dua? You know, I'm sure everybody gets some time when they're not doing anything, they're just sitting down, or, you know, during that time period when they're traveling or doing something in the kitchen, they can keep on reciting and repeating the names of Allah, or reciting Nadi Ali, or they can find a dua for the problem they're specifically suffering from. And you can keep that dua in your bag, in your pocket, and whenever you get a chance, you can actually recite it. You don't actually have to take time out specifically. You can just fit in your daily lifestyles.
Sure. Okay. And what about, so obviously reading the everyday salahs, 5 times salahs, is it would help to keep a healthy mind and physical health as well. But what happens if you do mustahab salahs, will that also help alleviate anxiety, stress?
Definitely.
Will it keep someone in a peace as well?
Yeah, definitely. Apart from the wajib prayers, for example, Salatul Layl, it is a promise by Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam that whoever prays Salatul Layl will be free from financial difficulties. Now, a lot of stress and worries and other psychological problems arise from financial difficulties or problems which arises from this kind of issue. So obviously Salatul Layl helps a lot. I mean, obviously if Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam has promised you something, then obviously it will happen. So Salatul Layl has several advantages. It helps you in a lot of ways. From unseen sources, you get solutions to your problems. Plus, you can also do istighasa to our 12th Imam. He is an occultation, but just because he's an occultation does not mean that he can't help you. He can. All you need to do is recite Namaz-e-Imam Zaman alayhi salam, and then ask him to help you out with whatever problem you're suffering from. And it doesn't even take long. It's just like a small short prayer, which obviously you can find time out for, because some people might say that, oh, we can get up for Salatul Layl. There are other mustahab prayers as well, even Salatul Hajat. If you recite that and then you ask for whatever your hajat is, that does help. And these are not time-consuming prayers either. I mean, they take maybe 4 minutes maximum. So I'm sure out of 24 hours you'll be able to take out 4 minutes for something which is obviously worth doing.
So there are also salahs that we can read that will help.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay, and are they also in that book that you were talking about?
Not in that book, but if you refer to other books like Mafatih al-Jinnan or Tawfiq al-Awam, they actually tell you what prayers are for what kind of problems. So you can refer to those books.
Okay, yeah, that's alhamdulillah, that's really good. What about if we talk about postnatal depression? Is that the same as depression? Is that classified as a psychological disorder? Because obviously women suffer from that after they've given birth.
Postnatal depression is not different from depression. It's quite similar. The symptoms are similar. The only difference is the source from which it originates. Normal depression, unipolar depression, can arise from anything. Maybe loss of a loved one, some horrible past experiences in your life, interpersonal relationships. It could be anything. But postnatal depression arises from, obviously, childbirth, pregnancy, which is obviously quite a stressful and anxiety-provoking phase in your life. So as far as prevalence is concerned, it is said, according to some researchers, that 1 out of 500 women suffer from postnatal depression, postpartum psychosis. But again, if we reflect to the teachings of Ahlulbayt alayhi salam, they have given us complete guideline to do what during the whole period of pregnancy and childbirth and obviously parenting itself. If you stick to those guidelines, chances of getting postnatal depression is absolutely zero.
Okay.
you can recite Ziyarat-e-Warisa, Ziyarat-e-Ashura throughout your pregnancy. Make it a habit. This is going to help you a lot. Then we have got supplications, invocations for childbirth, which will ease a lot of things. Reciting the Quran, obviously. There are certain surahs which I highly recommended to be recited in pregnancy. Giving charity and sadaqah. I mean, there's a combination of so many dua, supplications and prayers that you must do throughout your pregnancy in order to prevent any problems which may arise during, after birth.
Sure. We actually have a caller on the line. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
How are you, sister?
Actually, I wanted to ask the same question that Sister is talking about.
Okay, postnatal depression?
Yes.
Okay.
My question was, how can our religion help us or prevent us from postnatal depression?
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your question. Thank you so much, sister.
Thank you very much.
And if you at home also have a question or you want to share your views, then please do call in on the numbers on the screen. We would love to hear from you. So, sister, yes, that it's quite fitting actually, the sister that called in, and we were just talking about that topic of postnatal depression. So there are actually, in order to prevent it, if we do follow the supplications and the du'as that the Ahlulbayt alayhim assalam have said to recite.
There are other things as well. If you always have to focus on the root cause of any problem, no matter what it is. Postnatal depression arises from a combination of changes in your body which are physiological. Obviously, hormonal imbalances affect your mood. Sometimes you don't have enough social support in your life. That affects the whole concept of pregnancy. Sometimes it's unaccepted. You're not mentally and physically prepared for the whole responsibility. Sometimes it's too much to cope. And obviously having a child means you don't have the same level of independence that you had earlier on. So just the thought of having so many responsibilities, it can cause a lot of anxiety. But then again, you come back to the same thing, that you must keep all the sayings and traditions of Ahlulbayt alayhi salam in perspective during this period. Keep on reciting du'as and supplications. As I said, Ziyarat-e-Warisa, Ziyarat-e-Ashura. You must give sadaqah because it prevents you from a lot of ailments. You have to make sure that the things that you are eating are not causing more stress in your body. As I said, sugary stuff, caffeinated drinks, they tend to add more problems rather than to solve it. Plus, you need time out for relaxation, for exercise. You need fresh air. You need to have a healthy lifestyle. Focus on the things that are recommended by Ahlulbayt for eating during this time. For example, fruits. Like one of our imams have said that eggplant is a cure of all diseases. Similarly, pomegranate. I mean, there are so many other things that you can use throughout the period. Social support is very important. You must have someone to talk to, because sometimes when you don't have emotional support, you don't know where to ventilate your feelings, and you just tend to suffer inside. You have a lot of crying spells. But if you find somebody whom you can talk to, which I'm sure you can go to your nearest mosque or Imam Baraka and speak to a counselor, resident alim, or somebody in your family whom you can talk to, or friends or colleagues, then it does help as well.
Well, thank you, sister. That's very important information there that you've told us. And inshallah, we hope to continue talking to Sister Nazia about the psychological well-being of a woman. We're just going to go for a break right now, so please do join us after the break. Assalamu alaikum.